here is welcome to the Canadian Bro Show. My name is Paul Bale. I'm the founder and host of the Canadian Bro Show. We've got a very special episode, episode 81. We're going back to Pauly and Johnny's cinematic movie reviews with special guest, hopefully in the near future, co-host, Miss Kalelin, Marianne, Kirk. All three of us are going to have some fun today. We're going to talk about, all three of us are writers in some form or another. We all enjoy really good writing. And every once in a while, specifically in the 60s and 70s, my movies are going to be focused on, in the 70s, the golden age is what I call them, is a focus on great literary writing. And that literary writing turned into a blockbuster film. And there might be some overlap, but I think it's going to be really enjoyable. And introducing, I'm gonna bring everybody into the scene here. There's Johnny. I'm gonna.
Who's that handsome devil in the red ball cap?
That is Mr. Johnny Leister. And Johnny, welcome to the show, filming from the Vancouver Library. Johnny is the only person I know that is allowed to have his own free private studio in a public library. And not just any public library. The Vancouver Library is probably one of the nicest libraries I've ever seen of a city, and it's kind of a mini version of the Colosseum in Rome. And Johnny, who is this talented young lady to your left?
Well, it is my great honor to introduce for the fourth time to the Canadian Bro Show podcast, Miss Kalelin, Marianne Kirk. For people who have not seen our podcast before, Marianne, why don't you tell us a little bit about who you are, what you're about, what you do, and maybe what your goals are?
Thank you, and thanks for again having me. It's always a privilege and fun. I'm I don't know, I have a lot of backgrounds, and so when I first was on the show, it was like we talked about my background in the comic shop in Kitsilano in Vancouver, and my great experiences in the years I worked there. As well, I worked in the film and television industry for some time in Vancouver, and I'm also a professional educator and teacher librarian. And yes, I do write, and and I try to filmmake still sometimes. And I also do a lot of live theater and acting when I can, and just small. Right now it's just small because I've moved up from Vancouver to the Caribou. And so here we are. It's so great that we can still connect like this.
Absolutely.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah, welcome back.
Yeah. Good to see both of you.
Hey, Johnny. Johnny and I were talking about this, and we've really been wanting to do an episode like this. And essentially the episode is episode 81, authors whose spectacular writing turns into blockbuster movies that change Hollywood forever. Now, it doesn't always work out like that. However, we're just going to go into it. So, Johnny, welcome back once again, the co-host of The Most. Kalelin, Marianne, Kirk, we're going to talk about this. I'm going to go into the very first one. And my picks are, I have a tendency to pick a certain genre or theme. It just helps me stay focused because, I mean, I've been around since the 60s, the 70s, the 80s, the 90s, until now. And growing up with 3 channels on a little 10-inch RCA black and white television lying on my stomach, eating 3-day-old popcorn was sort of a normal in Kitsilano growing up. And anytime a great film in the late 60s, early 70s came on, I was just, especially in science fiction or war films, I'm a guy. I like all kinds of guy-type films, especially science fiction. But I've seen everything. My first pick is, I'm just going to start off with the title and see if anybody could guess what this is. The Future is Here. Anything? No? I didn't think so. 1970, groundbreaking masterpiece from a very prolific writer, although at that time nobody knew it. And the very first masterpiece I'm going to bring up is probably one of my favorite science fiction films that I saw when I was about 6 years old on television. And I was like, what the heck is this? I had no idea. It wasn't graphic. It wasn't overly violent. I just did not have a clue what the movie was about. And its title is capital THX 1138. In the 25th century dystopian sci-fi thriller. The director's cut came out in 2004. I recommend everybody watch the director's cut in 2004. The director is none other than George Lucas, who started this all. This movie, when he was in film school, was a 15-minute short film that he did. Right. And it caught the attention of big players in Hollywood, including the biggest player who almost destroyed the film twice. But we'll get into that. This director's cut is absolutely amazing. And if you watch this movie now, you'd never know it was from 1970. It just shows you with the extra footage, the lost footage, because this film was almost banned. And the writers, of course, was George Lucas and Walter Murch. A time when people have designations instead of names. A man, THS 1138, and a woman, LUH 3417, rebel against their rigidly controlled society.
It's like a 1984 type of scenario.
It is, but this is 1970, and this is why it's so groundbreaking. And if you see the director's cut, you'll that extra lost footage is amazing, and it really brings it all together. And it's really an absolute visionary, groundbreaking filmmaking starring legendary, rest in peace, one of my favorite actors of all time, Mr. Robert Duvall. When a very young Robert Duvall, still bald. He was only like 26 at the time.
Didn't hurt his career any.
And no, not at all. I believe he was still rooming with Gene Hackman in Hell's Kitchen in Manhattan at the time. So just going back. And Donald Pleasance, of course, one of Johnny and I's favorites. Fun facts. The title is from George Lucas's old phone. You know, the old ringers? And the number was actually a person that was on the short film that he was working on in film school. So he just said, hey, I'm going to use that because it sounds pretty cool. And it was actually the number of his friend that he called. Without the 604, it was just, I think it was 56874, whatever. Also, and in a later film that became his, another groundbreaking film, in Star Wars, the original one, Princess Leia, when she was in jail, the jail cell was THX 1138.
Everything's connected. Hyperconnectivity.
And before I get into the actual film, on another note, this happened many times. If you look at the uniform that Luke Skywalker picks up in the film, actually the number on the uniform is 1138 right here. Wow. So, I mean, it was just, if you pay attention, I love the fun facts, but I'll just give you, THX 1138 delivers a visual, stunning, thought-provoking, dystopian experience with social commentary on surveillance, conformity, and dehumanization that feels increasingly relevant today. The stark cinematography and oppressive atmosphere create a memorable aesthetic, while themes of freedom and rebellion resonate powerfully. However, the thin plot and meandering narrative, it happens, 1970, disappoint many, but of course that was because of the producer that was involved in the film, and they cut out 5 minutes of the original, and I won't mention his name right now. But some find it boring, and others find it emotionally distant, while others appreciate its philosophical depth.
Very unconventional, to say the least.
Oh, most definitely. But I mean, it's. I watched it last night, the director's cut, and it blew my mind again. And at the end of the day, it's primarily for patient art house cinema enthusiasts. And when I was 6 years old, I didn't know what the heck was going on. But my mom let me watch it because there was no it wasn't very graphic, and it was pretty cool. And that's the first. That's my first choice.
You know what's erotic about that movie? is it came out at a time when a lot of movies were promoting drugs, and it's actually an anti-drug movie. Heroes actually stop taking the drugs, and that's when they become real people. Marianne, do you want to go next?
Sure.
Yeah, go ahead.
Right.
So for my first one, it's actually, I'm just going to go really back in time and do some of the oldest science fiction films that I really liked. And some of them they're all well known, they're classics, but I like them, and I'm probably forgetting some because I wasn't. Anyway, my favorite really old classic black and white science fiction film is Robert Wise's The Day the Earth Stood Still.
Oh yeah, man.
The thing about that, I really loved the plot. I don't know about the acting is okay, but it was just, there's something really interesting about the plot, but also the theme, the story of it, and what it's still relevant even to today. So it's one of my favorites from a long time ago. And
did you see a remake with Keanu Reeves?
Pardon?
You remade it.
Sorry, I didn't. Yeah.
Not me either. I heard it wasn't very good.
No, it wasn't.
Oh, you saw it?
Yeah.
Good pick.
The original was good, and there's just something about it. And then some of my other older ones that I really liked. It's gonna sound odd because I was so horrified when I first saw it, but Soylent Green. Also,
all the time.
Let's do a film each. That way, if there's overlay, we can go into, because you're getting into my golden age of the 70s. And if we keep on mentioning, that's one of my favorite films of all time.
It's pretty cool.
And if somebody doesn't scoop it before me, I will bring it up.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Well, thanks for bringing it up, Kalelin. Johnny, what do you got, bro?
Okay, I'm going to go with 1968's Charlie, based on a novel called Flowers for Algernon by Daniel Keyes.
Wow.
1968 American science fiction drama starring Cliff Robertson, who plays Charlie Gordon, an intellectually disabled adult who's selected by two doctors to undergo a surgical procedure that triples his IQ, as it had done for a laboratory mouse that underwent the same procedure. Now, what I didn't know about this movie, which I watched all the time when I was a kid, and I had the VHS tape for many years, it's an absolutely beautiful film. It's very sad, but it's kind of uplifting at the same time. It's actually a remake of a 1961 episode of an anthology series, kind of like The Twilight Zone, called The United States Steel Hour, and he actually played the same character in The Two Worlds of Charlie Gordon. Have you seen this movie?
Yeah.
It's really good, right?
Awesome.
It's so beautiful. It's a great love story too.
I have not seen it.
It's not in film
It's so good, Paul.
Really?
It's so good. Yeah.
I can't believe I haven't seen it.
He becomes super intelligent. He becomes and he can see into the future, and he actually talks about a lot of things. And again, it's another very prescient film. He says everyone's going to have a television in a room, and he says a lot of stuff that actually is happening in present day. So again, a very almost like a prognostication.
Yeah, it's very interesting in your comment, Johnny, because you're going to see this theme popping up time and time again on a lot of the movies we talk about. And that's why I talk about the golden age of the 70s, is because they seem to have a big, huge genie bottle that they rubbed and looked into the future and then made movies that are happening right now and have been happening in the past.
That's nice.
And what was the title of that again, Johnny? The full title?
Charlie. And it was based on a novel called Flowers
Charlie?
for Algernon. Charlie, yeah.
I remember the
I read the original short novel too.
the poster. I remember seeing the poster.
Yeah. Cliff Robertson is sublime.
Oh yeah, he's a great actor.
He was a great
actor.
He was.
Well, I guess I'm going to have to go check that one out. I'm going to go with I'm doing these in order, because I was thinking about in 1970, which of the films that really I can remember, and I remember all these very clear. And the next one, of course, is 2001: A Space Odyssey. In 1971, I love science fiction. There are I'm going to have a different variety of science fiction offerings, because science fiction could be A Man with the Dog and John Johnson, as an example, or the I don't even want to say Johnny might even pop up with a couple of these, and I can tell by his eye roll when I said the title that I just stole.
That was based on a novel by Harlan Ellison, one of the greatest science fiction authors of all time.
Absolutely. And director Stanley Kubrick did double duty. He was also the writer and he worked with Arthur C. Clarke, who is also an extremely famous author in science fiction in the 70s. When a mysterious artifact is uncovered on the moon, a spacecraft manned by 2 scientists and one supercomputer is dispatched to Jupiter to find its origins. And Johnny, as Johnny says, the short story is The Sentinel. Okay. And the Space Odyssey stands as a visual stunning masterpiece that creates overwhelming cosmic wonder through breathtaking cinematography and ambitious scope spanning human evolution. Through thought-provoking narrative invites personal interpretation about the consciousness and humanity's place in the universe. However, the deliberately slow pacing and approach sharply divides audiences. A lot of people didn't know what the heck was going on.
It's slow burn, but what a payoff, right?
Oh my God. And with some finding it boring, others finding it considering essential to the experience, this landmark film rewards patient viewers willing to engage in its profound visual storytelling. So I watched this again, not last night, but the night before. And the scenes have added. And honestly, I completely forgot how incredibly visual and profound it is. And maybe it's my new 55-inch Samsung television that makes it even look better, right? Because it's a UHD and it's got 4K, and I don't remember the film looking that spectacular even in a theater. And this film, of course, I saw at the Stanley Theater in the sound. And it was spectacular. It was 70 mil. It was unbelievable. And I'll never forget it. But watching it the other night, I mean, if you guys get a chance just to watch, again and see it, it's really mind-blowing how many things you'll forget or just never even knew.
That's a great choice.
Showed that one at Film Sock at UBC. I was in Film Society there for a long time. And that's the first time I saw it. Was back in, we screened it. And I'd never seen it before, and I always heard about it. And it was kind of mesmerizing, that music, too.
I was never bored watching it. I was mesmerized from beginning to end. It's very hypnotic.
I just didn't know what the hell was going on. When the supercomputer, Hal...
What are you doing, Dave?
Yeah, he was a creepy mofo, man. To be out stuck with him, that's not good. Marianne, Kalelin, you're up next.
Okay, so going back in time a bit. I'm not sure if Logan's Run is considered classic science fiction, but I really like it.
Absolutely.
You stole one of my list.
That's my third pick. Please go ahead.
I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. Johnny, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if Johnny chose it as well. We love Logan's Run.
I like the TV show too.
And before you go into Logan's Run, if I may, you'll notice similarities between TH-1138 and Logan's Run.
Yeah,
and many other movies, The Running Man, and
I thought about The Running Man too. And I didn't see the remake of that too, and I meant to, but I just didn't get to the theater at the time. But yeah, no, there's something it's one of those movies that stick with you. There's so many scenes, and it's often quoted for a reason. So yeah, it's a classic, and I would highly recommend it. I know a lot of my peers are not into older film, which is quite a shame, because some of the older cinema is better than and more original than what a lot of stuff today. Not everything. We have some great film and cinema today too, but there's something about some of those classics, especially the ones that are groundbreaking and we're trying things out for the very first time in this genre.
You took a lot of risks.
And Logan's Run was one of them, yeah.
And because we both chose this film, I'm just going to give you a quick synopsis here, because it's really, it just brings back so much. Because 1976 was a long time ago. I already known Johnny for 4 years by then. And Logan's Run, 1976. Welcome to the 23rd century, the perfect world of total pleasure. Director Michael Anderson, writers David Zelig Goldman, and William F. Nolan, starring the very talented, and I loved him, British actor Michael York, and the very pretty Jenny Elgader.
Yeah, they were
and
great.
You like Jenny. I know you like Jenny. And Richard Jordan and Peter Ustinov, as well as Farrah Fawcett.
That's right, I forgot about him.
Remember Farrah Fawcett as the
I like
the robot?
when she remember the scene where she touches his face, and she's like, what are those lines? Just like they've never seen wrinkles before.
Right, because
do they hurt? It's like,
Logan's Run, I think you had to die on your 30th birthday.
Yeah.
Was that right?
The whole point was that they all.
Here, let me finish this. Let me finish this.
Well, we don't want to spoil the movie.
No, I mean, just give people a little synopsis. A police officer who was Michael York uncovers a deadly secret behind a society that worships youth.
His light starts blinking on his hand.
Yeah.
He had these life clocks that tell them how much longer. And he starts blinking. He's like, well, wait a second. I have 6 more years left.
Well, Michael York was also a police officer, an assassin that used to chase down the people that tried to run, hence the movie, right? Delivers a compelling dystopian premise with a chilling vision of forced euthanasia at age 30. Remember, they're floating around in their little dome and they blow up or whatever. Featuring strong performances from Michael York, Jenny Agata, and particularly Peter Ustinov. It was one of his last films. The thought-provoking social commentary and authoritarian control resonates powerfully today. However, the film suffers from uneven pacing and slows considerably in the second act, while the production design and visual effects show their 1970s roots with dated aesthetics and visible technical limitations despite winning 2 Oscars. All of my picks are all Oscar winners as well. So it's great writing, great filmmaking, and hopefully Hollywood acknowledges it. And thank you for bringing that up because what a fantastic movie. And that's the oldest movie of mine, 1976.
I'm surprised they haven't remade that by now.
Sorry?
I'm surprised they haven't done a remake of that.
Well, they had the television. Do you remember the television series?
The Michael Bay movie? I guess that was kind of a remake.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, and they did the television series, ran from 71 to 76, and it was terrible. It wasn't.
Series, so but there was a TV show which almost similar to the same premise that was on. It was actually done by J. Michael Straczynski, who created Babylon 5. It was called Jeremiah. It was filmed in Vancouver. I was a background performer on an episode, which was really fun. But you had to be get under a certain age to be on it because everybody there was young and they
of course
older. It was very similar premise.
What was the name? Do you remember the name of that?
Jeremiah.
Wow, I remember that.
Back in the
right?
I forgot about that.
Yeah, it was really cool. I remember one of the nights we were there on a night shoot at the arena, Thunderbird Stadium at UBC, and we were there for a big conference or whatever, and all of a sudden these guys are rappelling off the roof, and they had an attack helicopter, and all of us folks had to get arrested, and it was like I remember running, having a rifle pointed at me, and I was like, I didn't expect that. I remember actually freezing. I was like, we had to get down and thrown into trucks. It was really fun.
Did you actually see yourself in the episode?
That night too.
Did you see yourself in the episode?
Yeah, no, I don't. I didn't actually ever get to see it.
Aww. It's fun that you had the experience.
Yeah, it was great.
He's one of my favorite writers.
Yeah, he's great. I first got to know him because of the Real Ghostbusters cartoon, which he was the and one of the writers, and then Babylon 5. So.
Did you ever read a miniseries called Midnight Nation?
Sounds familiar, but you're making me think of another TV show I really liked that was science fiction at the time that's not really well known, Alien Nation, but also based on
I watched that show.
So I liked Alien Nation, yeah. But I like the show better than the movie. Anyway, getting off track, it's somebody else.
No, it's okay. You know what? There's people that enjoy film and writing, they love the banter because a lot of them would be saying the same thing. A lot of people that are really into this have probably that are in our age category, and by the way, our demographics from 40s to the 70s. So it's quite a broad adult audience, supposedly. So, it's nice to have a little banter and some fun facts and little mistakes. Anything you can bring up. Johnny, what do you got next?
Okay, I'm going to go with a movie that made me lose my mind every time I saw it in the TV guide. Here we go. I think we might have talked about this on another show. It's called Colossus, The Forbin Project. Another very prescient film. Science fiction thriller directed by Joseph Sargent, starring Eric Braeden, very prolific actor, Susan Clark, and Canadian Gordon Pinsent. It is based on the 1966 science fiction novel Colossus by Dennis Feltham Jones. Here we go. The film is about an advanced American defense system named Colossus, hence the title, which becomes sentient. We hate it when that happens. After being given full control, Colossus's, easy for me to say, draconian logic expands on its original nuclear defense directives to assume total control of the world and end all warfare for the good of mankind. But like everything else,
I missed that part. What was that? total.
He, after being given full control, Colossus' draconian logic expanded on the original nuclear defense directives to assume total control of the world and end all warfare for the good of humankind. But the price is enslavement. What happens is they turn on Colossus, and at the same time in Russia, it's a coincidence, they turn on their supercomputer called Guardian. And Guardian and Colossus link up, and they take over the world. And as the movie progresses, they're actually telling humans what to do, and the human characters are obeying them. It's absolutely terrifying, and it's absolutely plausible scenario. And the ending is almost like a to be continued. It's a shame that it wasn't a hit, because the ending, I don't want to spoil, a little bit of spoiler. Eric Brain's like, we will fight you, we will defeat you, Colossus. And then the movie ends. And it's like, oh man, where's part 2? They got to continue this. I want to see a happy ending.
There's a
Have you seen this movie, Marianne? Colossus?
No, I haven't. But it's it's very similar premise to Star Trek.
It's very funny too. It's very there's a lot of humor, and there's a romance, and it's got a little bit of everything, but the theme of the story is absolutely timeless.
So we're talking about like mid to late 80s?
It was made in 1970.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It's
Gordon,
so
you said Gordon Pinsent. How old was he? 4?
He's quite young.
Yeah.
Jeez.
I think he actually played the president, if I recall correctly.
Wow.
Yeah.
Gordon, well, he was.
I thought he was
acted until he was in his senior years.
Yeah.
On Due South.
Anyway, I highly recommend this movie.
He didn't have any gray hair, so he must have used Grecian formula when I last saw him on TV.
On YouTube. It's
okay.
It's like the best Twilight Zone that ever got made.
Well, I've never. I don't think I've seen that one either. I've heard of it.
Colossus actually develops a personality as he becomes smarter. Like he becomes almost like Hal, like very arrogant and cocky and sarcastic. And it's like, you humans, you had your day.
Well, Aliens stole that as well. Aliens 1 and 2 stole that as well with the, the genetically modified humans and how they turned in the first 2 movies. Although, anyways, that's bringing back some memories. Where can you see that? Is that something you can watch and stream?
You can watch a trailer on YouTube. I don't know if you can watch the entire movie.
No, that's good enough.
Yeah.
That's good enough, because that's how I did a lot of my notes, was going to YouTube and then going to IMDb to get a little synopsis and then check the trailers out for the ones that I wasn't able to watch before the show, right? Who's next? Is it me?
You're up, Paul.
I'm going to go to one of my favorite films in the 70s, and at the time, Charlton Heston was the number 1 actor in the world. For the most part, except for Sean Connery. I think was probably Sean Connery had the lead with the James Bond. I believe Dr. No started in 1966, was the first one. But Soylent Green, 1973, the director was Richard Fleischer. And he was also writing with Stanley R. Greenberg and Harry Harrison. Of course, this is going back quite some time with Charlton Heston at the peak of his career at this time, and the very last film of a legendary actor named Edward G. Robinson.
Oh yeah.
And he played his father on the Charlton Heston was a police officer, and it was again a nightmarish, futuristic. Also in it, I cannot forget Lee Taylor Young, because she was really hot. She was very popular in the 70s, and she was attractive. And I meant hot not to look at, but hot as a female actor in major dramas and actions. Yeah, and then I have to bring up Chuck Connors, because Chuck Connors is the original Rifleman. I remember I bundled that last time, Johnny, when we talked about. But uniquely, Chuck Connors is one of the first people that was actually in the NBA playing for the Boston Celtics as a professional basketball player.
He was a very manly man, Chuck Connors.
He was 6'6". And he was on he won 2 championships with the Celtics, but he was also moonlighting as an actor.
Wow.
It was pretty interesting. And the nightmarish futuristic fantasy about controlling power of big corporations and an innocent, not so innocent, cop who stumbles onto the truth. Soylent Green delivers a powerful social commentary on overpopulation, environmental degradation, and wealth inequality that remains strikingly relevant today. Does it ever? The film's dark dystopian vision and thought-provoking environmental warnings are consistently praised, and no other film was dealing in that sort of, they saw
I remember
into the future.
bulldozers were like scooping people up by the dozens.
Yeah,
dumping
yeah,
them in
I'll get there.
bulldozers.
I don't want to. It's in the trailer. They actually give the entire movie away in 2 minutes and
Yeah, they
30
do.
seconds, in 1970s or whatever, 73, and the film's dark vision and thought-provoking warnings are prevalent in today's world. All these years later, along with Edward G. Robinson's memorable final performance. Edward did 101 films in his career. This was his last one, and he died 9 days after the filming of cancer, unfortunately. And his performance was up for Academy Award. You remember, you had a choice. And if you couldn't afford on Tuesday to get Soylent Green crackers, you run out of food, you have a choice. And I don't want to break what that choice is. See the movie. There's a lot of really interesting things, but it's really beautifully done. Mm-hmm. And very sad. The storyline in 2022. Interesting that they chose that date, eh? Only 4 years ago. Earth is overpopulated and totally polluted. The natural resources have been exhausted, and the nourishment of the population is provided by Soylent Industries. Again, a corporate thing. Excuse me. The company makes a food consisting of plankton from the oceans. In New York City, when Soylent Green's member of the board, William R. Simonson, is murdered, apparently by a burglar at the Chelsea Towers West, where he lives. Only the richest people can live there. And the Detective Thorne is assigned to investigate the case. And really, it comes down to lots of really interesting things that unfold. And if you haven't seen it, it's one of the few movies from the golden age of the 70s that has not been replicated for some reason. And I think it needs to be. And you can imagine with the right budget and the right director, it could be spectacular.
There's a lot of people that have never heard of it before or seen it, and they really should.
Oh my God, yeah. Yeah.
Anyway, yeah.
You're up, Marianne.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm torn between
Bated
two
breath.
Stanley Kubrick films. So one of them's not true science fiction, but and it's not my favorite at all, but I really was, it's hard to get some of the images out of my head, is A Clockwork Orange.
Ah.
Yeah, and when I first saw it in film school, and it was like, I was so disturbed by it, which is a sign of a good author, when it sticks with you and it makes you wrestle with it and things don't leave your head. So it was disturbing, but what a great message, and like
absolutely
really, and
makes you think.
subtle and really makes you think. And even though I did not really care for it, I thought, wow. And Malcolm McDowell, holy cow! You can see him these days on things like the Mark Critch, Son of a Critch show on CBC, and you're going, that's the same guy.
Yeah. He looks great, by the way.
Even on Entourage,
He's
very funny.
Yeah, he looks great. And guess what? He used to date the lady that he's now married to.
Mary Steenburgen.
Yes.
From Time After Time. Time After Time is one of my all-time favorites.
Yes, and he actually didn't he win the Academy Award for Best Actor? He got nominated for sure. His performance was electric. It was a violent movie.
Yeah, and it disturbed me because I was younger at the time. I hadn't seen as many films either, and like I remember, like it was really a great experience. The kind of films they showed us from all over the world. My first taste of like a lot of foreign films at the time, and classic films too, which I really loved.
Yeah, me too.
The other Stanley Kubrick film that really impacted me was Blade Runner. Sorry. Okay.
Well, it's all good.
Here's
all
now.
good.
I'll let you move on then, since I spoiled one.
No, not at all. Not at all. And I didn't choose either one of those. I thought Johnny for sure was going to choose one of them anyways, but I'm glad you did. Johnny, who do you got?
Okay, I'm going to go with The Incredible Shrinking Man, a 1957. Oh boy, when this movie was on TV,
I love it.
My eyes were glued to the screen.
I love it.
Directed by Jack Arnold, based on Richard
That was
Matt's
so fun, man.
1956 movie, The Shrinking Man. The film stars Grant Williams as Scott and Randy Stewart as Scott's wife, Louise. While relaxing on a boat, Scott is enveloped by a strange fog. Months later, he discovers that he appears to be shrinking, of all things. By the time Scott has reached the height of a small boy, his condition becomes known to the public. When he learns that there is no cure for his condition, alas, he lashes out at his wife. Well, there's no reason to do that. As Scott shrinks to the point where he can fit into a dollhouse, that's not emasculating, he has a battle with his family cat.
At least he's got a roof over his head.
Good one, Paul. Leaving him lost and alone in his basement. Why? You think people would have more sympathy for this guy, where he's now smaller than the average insect. And of course, the payoff of this movie is he fights a spider. Oh, man. I mean, this is before CG. I think, to my eyes, I think it still looks absolutely convincing. I don't know how they did it, but this movie is really quite chilling. And it has a great, very touching ending, too. It's a very uplifting ending, actually. I don't want to spoil it. Great movie.
Not at all. My God. I remember seeing that spider thing, and I was like, how did they film that? Because it was real. They just had a really micro camera, and they just shrunk it. I don't know what the hell they did, but I know my wife never saw that, because if she saw it, she would have passed out and probably had a jammer right there. She's got severe arachnophobia. She can't even watch spiders in movies, you know?
Like arachnophobia?
Yeah. It's insane.
You get big spiders in Williams Lake, Marianne?
Yeah, we even, like, unfortunately, we're starting to get, like, we didn't have them, but now black widows are starting to migrate here.
Oh, yeah, they're all over Kelowna. They're everywhere.
Too, but now we saw one here.
I was in Australia 2 years ago. I was in Adelaide for 10 days, and they have huntsman spiders.
Oh,
and
my God.
No thanks.
It's like a pancake with legs that runs fast.
I'm not really arachnophobic, but I'm scared of snakes.
Unbelievable.
Or whatever.
And they can crawl across the ceiling very fast, like they can on a floor. It's really, I mean, I've seen photo. One of my cousins lives in Australia, and she sent me a photo she took on her phone, and I'm like, please don't send that again. If my wife sees it, she'll die.
Yeah.
No, she'll have a heart attack, and it's that bad. It's really crazy.
I go to Australia.
Oh my God.
New Zealand, not Australia.
My wife will never go to Australia, and she wants to.
Spiders.
Because of the spider situation. There's 1,000 ways to die in Australia, but there is probably 1,000 spiders that can kill you.
You know what the most amazing thing about Australia is? They have drive-through liquor stores.
What? Well, they're big boozers
Adelaide is
there.
lousy with drive-through liquor stores. I was really and Salvation Armies. They have Salvation Armies like we have Starbucks. They call them Salvies. It was so cool.
Nice one. Next one is, again, 1973. I'm stuck in the 70s, the golden age of this. I was just enthralled. It seemed everything that came out that was some form of science fiction was incredible, and I was just captivated. In 1973, director Michael Crichton. Is that how you enunciate his name?
I think it's Crichton.
Crichton.
I could be wrong.
Yeah, no, there's no IE or EI, so I was just kind of curious. I remember always enunciating Crichton, but when I did this, I was like, there's no E or I, whatever. This movie in 1973, Michael Crichton not only directed, but he was the main and only writer. So it was double trouble. In this case, one of my favorite science fiction films that was actually a supposed Western film, and the movie was called Westworld.
Westworld, yeah.
And starring Yul Brynner, who used to put those commercials on about, please, whatever you do, don't smoke. Yeah, he was smoking 6 packs a day. And this was one of his last films, and he was fantastic in it. Richard Benjamin was the lead, and James Brolin, a young James Brolin. And he used to actually, very handsome guy, and it was a fantastic. And then, of course, I had to mention Dick Van Patten, because Dick Van Patten always had like small speaking roles. He was in Logan's Run. He was in the Andromeda Strain. He always played like doctors and lawyers and. Yeah. I remember the whole Patton family, where nothing can possibly go wrong. Westworld. And a robot malfunction creates havoc and terror to unsuspecting vacationers at the futuristic adult-themed amusement park. Westworld remains an influential sci-fi classic that has aged remarkably well. So much so they did another film 3 years
Future
later with
I have not seen
Peter
that
Fonda.
film, but I saw Future World and I thought it was great.
Yeah, that was Peter Fonda. Yeah, I thought so too. And I thought they couldn't possibly make it as good as Westworld because it was so groundbreaking. No one ever did a movie like this
It was
before.
like a
right?
Disneyland for adults.
Pretty much. Well, it was an adult theme. It was like, it's party town, right? It was like before James Coburn I was actually going to bring that up, but it's not really sci-fi. I was going to bring up all the Flint movies, right? But for another episode. Basically, Westworld remains an influential sci-fi classic, and Yul Brynner's iconic, relentlessly menacing robot. Apparently, he was like that in real life if he ran out of cigarettes. Gunslinger anchors the film in delivering an absolute amazing performance that inspired countless future films, including The Terminator, and the imaginative theme park concept, which I thought was brilliant, and thrilling chase sequences created suspense and entertainment. And I really thought it was a great movie. I watched it again a couple of months ago, and I really enjoyed it.
In the late 70s, there was a Westworld TV series. It was called Beyond Westworld. It was exactly 2 episodes. And I thought they were both absolutely fantastic, but there just wasn't an audience for it.
No, yeah, it's kind of interesting. A lot of the films I bring up in here, there wasn't an audience for at that time. You think about THS X1138, everyone thought it was going to be a groundbreaking film. And it ended up bombing, but it really captured everybody's imagination over the next decades and became a classic. It's kind of interesting, eh? Marianne, who do you got next?
Well, you stole my Westworld because I was going to bring up Westworld.
Oh, sorry, we're equal. We're even.
And I didn't actually get to watch the new Westworld TV series because I didn't have the streaming ability back then. But I heard it's good. But anyway, the classic is best, and I'm kind of a Yul Brynner fan. I loved him in the
man.
Oh,
that was so fantastic. Taken off from Akira Kurosawa's The Seventh Samurai.
Huge Kurosawa fan.
Me too.
It was Japanese cinema. So anyway, I'm just a huge fan of it.
No, that's awesome.
Japanese film sometime.
I knew this is going to happen where there's going to be everybody's just sort of, because we're, similar ages, right?
Marianne, I'm curious about your mural that's behind you. Can you divert for a second? Is that George Perez?
It is. It's like half.
Good eyes, Johnny. Good eyes.
From Crisis on Infinite Earths.
Yeah, it's absolutely amazing.
I have the other half in the basement. I'm really upset because my ex-brother-in-law, when he was storing it for me many years ago, he ended up, without even asking my permission, he cut it in half.
What?
And he cut right through the figure of the Superman from Earth.
What is that? What is such a thing?
I'm still really upset.
Stupidity.
Yeah,
Stupidity.
Cut in half so to make it easier for him to store in his store.
Just out of curiosity, did you give him any directions on storage when you gave it to him?
No, it was like I had it mounted, right? And then I had bought it from the comic shop, and it was like, for me at the time, an expensive print. And I was so proud of it, and I was looking forward to hanging it in a future house like this. And I just brought it up to
Johnny, good eyes, man. Holy crap.
Like comic books. So I want to, so sometimes I hang it pieces together, but I don't know how to seal it back, and I'm still mad at my ex-brother.
I don't blame you.
He didn't go right through the half. He went right through the figure of the first Superman from.
Did you by any chance give him a little bitch slap or anything?
No, I didn't actually.
No, you're very kind. I know. If my brother did that in my comics, I would have dropped him.
Yeah, it was frustrating. I just thought I should try to hide the mess that was.
No, it's you're kinder than me. I'm a little violent.
But yeah. Pardon?
You have another movie?
Okay, since not Westworld, I was gonna go with another first one, 70s Mad Max. So
one film each, guys. Johnny, what are you doing? One film each. Just
Mad Max. The first one was more of a dystopian future, but definitely still considered a science fiction genre. And I didn't really like the first one that much. Actually, it was because it was disturbing, and there were some scenes that I found really memorable though. And I loved Mel Gibson. I'd seen Mel Gibson before in Gallipoli, but otherwise Mad Max was like my second introduction to him. I'd seen Gallipoli in high school. But it was really good. I really loved number 2 though when it came out. For some reason,
that is just unbelievable. So just a quick synopsis because I also chose Mad Max before you go, Johnny. Mad Max, 1979 director George Miller, also a writer on the film, with James McCullough and Byron Kennedy, starring Mel Gibson, his very first film, and Joanne Samuel and Hugh Keys-Byrne. In a self-destructing world, a vengeful Australian policeman sets out to stop a violent motorcycle gang. Mad Max stands as the genre-defining classic with spectacular practical stunts and George Miller's brilliant interpretation and direction, creating an intense, raw action experience. Mel Gibson and Hugh deliver strong performances, and the setting, of course, just the violence and the societal collapse on a low budget is unbelievable movie. And I agree with you. I think the second one, and George Miller had all of them, even the third one he wrote and directed as well. Mm-hmm. And nobody else could do what he did. That's for sure. And wow, that's incredible.
Coolest last name in the history of cinema, Rockatansky, Max Rockatansky. Now that sticks. Good choice.
Yeah.
When I saw that movie in the theater, it was the American version. And believe it or not, there's actually another actor that did Mel Gibson's voice. Mel Gibson's voice was actually dubbed by an American actor.
No way.
It's like
it's just terrible. I don't know why they did that, because
it was so insulting.
Yeah, it was very insulting, and they should never allowed it to happen, because his Australian accent was very, you could hear everything he was saying. And all the ladies and some men didn't care about what was coming out of his mouth. They were just like, this guy's a dreamboat, very popular
Apparently
dude.
He got into a bar fight before his audition. So when he went to the casting, he had like a black eye, and apparently that helped him get the part.
Yeah, it was.
Guy,
he was actually bleeding as well, and he opened up the cut. He said to go in, just to give them talk about in what do they call it in acting when you talk about in the method acting.
Acting.
Yeah, and that works. I got an audition doing that, pretending I lied to them in my audition that I was a chef. That I've done sushi in Tokyo. I've done everything, traveled the world. I did barbecue in Argentina. I did haggis in Scotland. I was just bullshitting. I was just rambling off. And I got the part. And then they asked me to do some knife skills. I didn't know what the hell I was doing. I mean, I still got the part. But the associate British co-director just hated me. And he goes, "That's not how you cut a knife." And I said, "Well, would you kindly show me then how you would cut a knife?" He goes, "That's your job, not mine. Come better prepared." I'm like, oh my God, man. It's a commercial, bro. Maybe that's why you're still doing commercials and you're 60. I don't know. But anyways, it was a nice paycheck. Johnny, what do you got?
All right. My next choice is probably nobody's favorite James Bond movie, but I'm going with 1979's Moonraker. The fourth to star Roger Moore as a fictional MI6 agent, James Bond. He's a secret agent. Now, this is what I don't get about James Bond, okay? Can you explain this to me? He's a secret agent, but he always uses his real name. What? And then the villain's like, "We know who you are. You're James Bond, the Secret Service."
Everybody knows who James Bond is. Doesn't matter who James Bond really is.
Okay, in the film, Bond investigates the vanishing of a space shuttle orbiter, leading him to Hugo Drax, great name, the owner of the shuttle's manufacturing firm, along with astronaut, I apologize in advance if this offends anyone, I'm just reading from my phone, Dr. Holly Goodhead. Okay. Bond follows...
How did they get away with that back then?
People were naive.
Probably they like...
Yeah, I mean, like Octopussy and things like this, right?
Moonraker was my first James Bond movie that I ever saw.
Oh,
the Amazon rainforest, and finally into outer space to prevent this movie may have been influenced by Star Wars, I'm just guessing, to wipe out the human population and repopulate humanity with a mass race. Now, if you watch the end of the previous film, The Spy Loves Me, you know how the movies always end with James Bond will return? It actually says James Bond will return in For Your Eyes Only. But then Star Wars came out, and so the Cubby Broccoli, the producer, said, "Oh, we got to send Bond into outer space." And of course, the real diehard Puritan Bond fans were outraged by this idea. That's why when you watch For Your Eyes Only, it's much more down to earth and more of a sort of typical James Bond type. But I love Moonraker. It's so entertaining. That's what I just got. And the battle at the end with the suits and the laser. Oh my God! It's
how did they find if space a spacesuit to Jaws to fill Jaws is 7'3", 380 pounds.
That's
right?
right. Did you know that
Holy
he was
smokes.
the original Incredible Hulk? He actually worked on the Incredible. He actually was the Hulk before Lou Ferrigno was cast.
Really?
And then Kenneth Johnson, who was the director, his son was on set one day. He's like, Dad, the Hulk is he's supposed to have big muscles. Richard Kiel was very tall, but he was gaunt. So that's how Lou Ferrigno got the part, because of Kenneth Johnson's son.
I remember reading something about that. But didn't Lou Ferrigno get the television Hulk? He was the lead in that, though, right?
But he was the second choice after Richard Kiel.
I know, of course. And I think a lot of people always is saying, well, he can't even hear cut or, anything.
And Johnson was afraid to cast him because he thought he wouldn't be able to hear, and especially while doing a dangerous stunt.
Exactly. But he's had a long career, and you know what? I saw him recently. He looks excellent, man. He looks
he looks
really
amazing.
good shape, eh?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Really.
Awesome. So who is it? Me now? This is my last one. How many more you got, Johnny?
I think I'm done. We're almost at 1 hour. We're at 50 minutes.
Yeah, exactly. I just had to go this last one because, again, it's this one's in the late 60s, but it was the 70s, and you brought it up before. When I saw this movie the first time, I could not believe what I was watching. And it started off as a science fiction film in space, and the movie's The Planet of the Apes, 1968. Director Franklin J. Schaffner and Michael Wilson and Rob Sterling and Pierre Boulez, starring, again, Charlton Heston, Roddy McDowall, and Kim Hunter. And when this movie initially started off, I was like, wow, this looks great. And it looked kind of like I was watching Space 1999 with those fake, with the little floating spaceships and stuff. But, or the science fiction one where they all shrink into a little vessel and they go into the human body.
Fantastic Voyage.
Thank you. Yes, I thought somebody was going to bring that up.
Let me out of here.
Where you going, bro? You'll drown if you go.
You'd be missed as a kid, that one.
Oh, it was so good. But this one for me, as a kid, I just could not believe it. I mean, it was like monkeys taking over the planet. What happened to the humans? They weren't just monkeys; they were apes. They were Planet of the Apes. But
spectacular.
And the little synopsis is pretty straightforward. But I just remember the opening scenes when they crash in the lake, and then when he gets caught almost right away, and then the very last scene. But they've been kept in hypersleep during a very long expedition into deep space. The astronaut crew crash lands in the 40th century. Wow, where did they pick that number out? On a planet where highly intelligent non-human ape species are dominant and humans are enslaved. Really interesting. And then I was like, oh my God, is this going to happen to us? I was just, I was young. I had no idea. Planet of the Apes remains a groundbreaking science fiction masterpiece with one of cinema's greatest twist endings and a clever multi-layered writing. Charlton Heston delivers the commanding performance once again, while the Academy Award-winning, like I say, all of these movies won Academy Awards. The makeup, special makeup effects were really impressive, considering that back then in the 70s, they had to move the mouse and their eyes and their ears, and I don't know how they did that in those masks. You could sometimes see the entire face move when they were talking, Everything was moving. But maybe that happens, I'm looking at myself right now, I guess that happens to us right now. And but the film's rich social commentary on nuclear war, evolution, and the inequality resonates powerfully to this day. Some find it occasionally crude, while most praise its enduring relevance and entertainment value. A few notes of the practical effects haven't aged perfectly, but the film still lacks an emotional impact. And if you look at all of the other Planet of the Apes films, have you guys seen any of them or all of them?
Oh, yeah.
Aren't they incredible?
I like the third one. I like the one where
they weren't bad either.
Yeah, true.
1970s, and they're in suits, and it's like present day. That was really fun.
That was a little weird. I mean, being so hairy, wouldn't you want to just have a full body shave and then put the clothes on? That must have been... Especially the clothes are probably polyester. They must have been sweating a lot.
Yeah.
Remember,
they were hot.
do you remember what Zira called wine? She called it grape juice plus. She never, because they didn't have wine in the 40th century.
What?
They didn't have grape.
I don't know how I'd survive without wine. In the 21st century.
I read a
And
really
it
great
was a
article with
surprise.
Roddy McDowell, a little behind the scenes from Planet
Yeah.
of the Apes, and
Yeah.
how he played a prank. He was playing a prank in his costume, his ape costume, on somebody. I wish I could remember the details, but it was a hilarious little anecdote. He had a lot of fun.
Yes. Yes.
Apparently
And
on the set, the orangutans ate their lunch together, and the gorillas ate their lunch together, and the chimpanzee apparently was very cliquish. Weird, kind of weird. That's kind of a social commentary all by itself.
did they have silverbacks in those movies?
I don't remember.
I don't think so.
The big, just the
Yeah, no.
monster.
Maybe they were saving that for a future.
I haven't seen that movie in a long time, but that last scene, that twist ending.
That was a shocker back in the day.
Oh my God! I was in the theater, and some family member took me, and it was probably the Stanley, because that was the one we always went to.
I saw Empire Strikes Back at the Stanley Theater.
Which one?
Taylor should have really figured it out
Empire
a lot
Strikes Back,
sooner.
one of my earliest
I mean,
long
the apes-
lineup movies. Wait,
man.
long lineup, but I remember it very clearly.
Oh, so
they-
fantastic! Especially when they did 70 mil and they brought in the extra boom speakers, because they remember that dome they had in the ceiling.
Yeah.
And so the boom speakers, when I saw like a war film like Tora, or one of these explosive Midway, as an example, I couldn't hear after the film. My ears were ringing. You think Johnny's got bad tinnitus? I got it as well, but I don't have it. Do you have it both ears or just one?
I have it in both ears.
Yeah, me too.
Here right
I think
now.
Johnny, we were too many movies in the Stanley, bro. We should sue them.
You know what it's loudest? It's loudest when I go to bed. When I put my head down, this is this is how I sleep.
Oh my God!
I have something on my head while I'm
It's
sleeping.
like you have 12 mosquitoes
Pretty much.
stuck in your eardrum.
You get used to anything if enough time goes by.
I wear earplugs, and so when I put my earplugs in, I can't hear anything except my tinnitus or tinnitus or whatever the hell you call it. Apparently it's easy to get rid of. I still haven't figured out how to do it. So, but listen, thank you very much, everybody, for doing the show. Very nice to see you, Kalelin. And thank you for joining us. And your house is still not on fire. I don't see smoke behind you.
Yeah.
I hope nothing happens.
Thank
Protect it as best you can, and always. I'm going to do some prayers, because I've been praying a lot. There's so many prayers are needed in this world for so many people. It's unbelievable. And anything else you guys would like to talk about before we close up the show today?
Oh, well, I didn't know we were going to talk mostly about classic science fiction films, so
I just chose to do that myself.
Just nice to reminisce about some films I haven't seen for a long time.
Sure, yeah.
Just to end with something more modern.
Sure.
The most recent great science fiction film, at least I thought it was great, that I saw in the theaters was Project Hail Mary. I really did.
Is it that good? I couldn't get through the first 20 minutes. I was just like, are you kidding me?
It was slow, but so a lot of classic films, they have a
So
slow.
I should watch it, is what you're saying.
Yeah. I thought it was really well done and a great message, and it was very uplifting, which is what we need these days.
Yes.
And so I really liked the themes and the message, and I thought it was also very well made.
Well, I'm going to make some popcorn and get into the mood and check it out, because he's a very talented actor. He carries that. He holds that screen like, I mean,
Canadian bro.
Dude, what he did with Barbie is remarkable.
You know, he could sing until then. I was like,
remarkable. $1 billion. Like, how did he just wake up one day and he put on a pink suit and he just became the male Barbie? And he does a great job. I've never seen the film. I just saw the trailer. And I was like,
it's actually very watchable, even for non-kids and non-female. It has a great message and really surprising good plot. And not what you expect. There's more to it. There's enough in that movie for anybody.
Kalelin, you'd be surprised how many young males used to play with Barbies when they were growing up.
Glad to hear it.
Not me and Johnny.
Paul.
Not me, anyways, because
yours are like male Barbies.
No, I played with little army characters. I'd have the Nazis over here, and I'd have the English, the Canadians, and the Americans over here, and I'd take a huge towel and I make, I'd get lost for 3 hours. It was great.
Imagination. A lot of kids do that these days. They're all through their screens. And writers, a lot of us, I don't know, that's how I began as a writer, was from creating stories during play. I used anything I had, like my stuffed animals, the little red rose tea, things you used to be able to collect. and then create elaborate stories, and then eventually, with my toys, and then eventually started writing them. And that's a lot of people start that way, but a lot of kids aren't using their imaginations these days. So
no, they're using their iPhones and iPads, and anyways. Well, thank you for that, and thanks for joining, and please take care of yourself and your mom up there. Hopefully they're on it. I had no idea it was as bad until you actually mentioned it, because I know it's everywhere. They're saying there's probably over 1,000 fires in BC right now, which is seems like an obscene amount.
1,000 fires in Canada.
Canada. Okay, thanks.
Yeah, but so we just have this, a couple really bad ones, and 2 of them in my area. So one one's very close to where I live. So.
All right. Well, thanks again. We always enjoy you, and we're looking forward to have you back. And when you do, we'd like to talk about some areas that a female bro would probably like to talk about. And perhaps if there's something that you would like to share, we could talk about that in the near future, about doing an episode that's something that you feel really strong about or very interested in. The film industry, I'd love to talk about. Johnny and I have a little bit of experience in the film industry. I've been in 4 major films, and theater and commercial. That was one. And I'd love to do an episode on that, because I really made an effort. I was probably doing it, I don't know when, but I find it fascinating. Johnny, would you like to share anything before we finish the show today?
Well, I'm glad you asked me that, Paul, because today I uploaded my latest awesome Lee Hacklin mystery. This one is called Apocalypse Any Second Now. There's the cover.
Love it.
And if it's okay with you and our fans, our 50 million fans out there, I would like to read first chapter. Here we go. I'm a self-published author, not to beat my chest about it. My boy's name is Lee Hacklin. He's a private investigator. He's a complicated man. Nobody understands about his woman. He's a private eye. He's in his mid-20s. He smokes. He drinks. He's a ladies' man, but he has a heart of gold, and he does not like bad guys. Here we go. Chapter 1, Apocalypse Any Second Now.
That was bad guys, right? He does not like bad guys.
He's like Captain America. He doesn't like bullies. Okay, here we go.
Fair enough.
New York City, 1978. I was in my office. My one window, by God's good grace, was closed. It doesn't take a lot to make me happy, and the Big Apple was experiencing a terrifying and exhilarating thunderstorm. Lightning flashed across the dark sky. So cool. There are no fireworks, like nature's fireworks. I was a voracious reader, and still am to this day. My latest literary diversion was a wrinkled and dog-eared paperback edition of Tarzan of the Apes by Edgar Rice Burroughs. The sublime cover was drawn by Neil Adams, my favorite artist. Sorry, Michelangelo. His work on X-Men and Batman was cinematic. My stomach grumbled. Feed me! The elevator down the hallway was quieter than a morgue until it decided to mock me. No more clients for you, Lee. Your career is done, like disco. Do the world a favor, go home, and hang yourself. I put my book down, gave the elevator a double New York salute, that's middle finger, and sighed. In a parallel universe, I was working at Marvel right now and drawing Spider-Man. That was my childhood dream, and I was pursuing it too, until the day I decided to put my pencil down and decide that being a superhero was and is more fun than drawing a superhero. Regrets? I have a few. That was one of them, to say the least, dear reader, but I try not to dwell upon them. What's the point? It's a waste of time and energy. Life's better when we keep our minds focused on the ever-loving present. It's life's greatest gift. Pun intended? Always, dear reader. Don't look at the elevator. A watch pot never boils. Please, pretty please, with 2 olives and a little plastic umbrella, the elevator doors opened. A smart and successful-looking couple in their 50s emerged. They were holding hands. They entered my office. I stood, ambled around my desk, and introductions ensued. Lee Hacklin at your service. I'm Gary Mills, and this is my wife, Erica. We need your help. Money is no object. Did I regret my decision to stop drawing? There were days when I did. That wasn't one of them. And that's chapter 1 of Apocalypse Any Second Now. It's basically Scientology is the theme of this one. Only I call it utopiology. Thank you so much. I actually wanted to read something else, but I couldn't find it on my phone.
And how many of these novellas have you penned now?
Thank you so much. It's over 100.
Over 100? Wow, you're prolific.
I stopped counting after 100. I'm writing one a week, and they're quite short. This one was 31 pages. They're getting shorter and shorter. A story is as long as it needs to be. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Johnny. And before we go, Johnny is famous for his extraordinary puns.
Okay, here we go. I was at a museum yesterday, and I saw an ex-girlfriend. I wanted to say hello to her, but there was too much history between us.
That's not bad. That's good. All right, everybody. Thanks very much. Instead of putting the subscribe button up, obviously it's on the back part of my screen here, but I wanted to put up our old, the second iteration of a little less than 2 years ago when I found a way to actually design our first logo of the Canadian Bro Show. And that is, in fact, Johnny and I, 2 years ago. And I just thought it was so cool. And Johnny's got a copy. Well, that's one of our better photos, but Johnny had a copy as well, but the library wouldn't let him stick it up on the door.
Yeah, that was a bit of a controversy. If you watched this episode, Marianne, I'm basically like this for the entire podcast. I was so tense, I could barely spit 2 words out, but Paul was Paul. Paul's always, he's just...
Yeah. I mean, I was a little disturbed. If I was there, I probably would have come up with some sort of a solution. But anyways, very nice episode, everyone. I'm going to take everybody out, and I'm going to close down the episode. And I just want to say thank you again for your valuable time. And I'm glad we were able to do episode 81, which is Pauly and Johnny's Cinema Review with special guest co-host Kalelin Marianne Kirk. And we look forward to bringing her back many times in the future. And thank you again for finding time in your busy life. I know it's been challenging the last couple of episodes, and I hope that becomes a little bit easier for you. All our prayers and love for your mom. And prayers, hopefully the white light of love can surround your house from any demon fires that try to take it away from you, because that is a challenge in itself to be able to, in today's world, to be able to own your own property. Especially when you're a teacher of, almost 40 years and everyone knows the salaries they're not that great. But it's just incredible. As a total stranger, I'm just so proud of you, because I did the same. And anybody that has been dreaming about having a home their whole lives, it's not everybody's dream, but you want to do anything you can once you have it to sustain, maintain, and retain that dream for many years in the future. And that's what we wish and hope. And Johnny, I don't have to say anything more. I love you, and you're one of my oldest and greatest friends, and we'll see you next week. I'm going to take you guys out. Thanks again. Thanks, Marianne. We appreciate your time, specifically in this difficult time, and we look forward to bringing you back next episode. So thanks very much.
If you see fire, Marianne, please run.
Yeah.
We'll flee. We have to.
Yeah. No. Just take care, and hopefully that won't happen. I'm going to say some prayers. So thanks again, and we'll see Marianne soon. And no, that's all right, Johnny.
I was just wondering about Marianne's. Has she recovered from her car accident?
Well, we talked about that in the last episode, or 2 episodes ago. But she can hear you right now, and the off. I don't think anybody else can, because I'm still recording. So, Johnny, I'm going to remove you, and I'm going to say goodbye to everyone. And guys, thank you kindly. My closing is not going to take too long at all. I don't want to bore these people. We're over an hour now, which is great. So, thanks, Johnny. We'll see you next week. And everybody else, thank you kindly for joining the Canadian Bro Show, episode 81. And we really wanted to focus on the literary talents of these extraordinary authors and how they've created these masterpieces, sometimes not even known, and they end up turning into a major blockbuster Hollywood film. And we really enjoy all things Canadian at the Canadian Bro Show podcast. My name is Paul Bale, the founder and host of the Canadian Bro Show, and thank you very much for joining us. As it says below me, if you enjoy this content, this free podcast on the YouTube channel, and we've done about 145 episodes now. Kindly, if you would like to see any more episodes or you'd like to subscribe, that would be fantastic. Comment, like, any comments you answer, we will answer every single one of them, whether they're slightly ridiculous or actually most comments are really, really good. I've only had one bad comment and I didn't even say anything. I just said, well, thank you very much for your comment. But in the meantime, before I go, if I can just say, in this crazy mad world, we always like to end the show with, please be kind out there. Be generous with your kindness. Please don't expect anything from that kindness. Make somebody's second, minute, hour, day, week, month, year. It's free, it's easy, And hopefully people will reciprocate it. It always feels good, and do it genuinely. All the best, everybody. Thank you for joining the Canadian Bro Show, and we'll see you next episode. Peace, everyone.